You've probably been told that the key to your future lies in your effort, that success, love, and peace come to those who try harder, do more, hustle faster. But what if that entire narrative was a distraction? What if the constant doing, chasing, and forcing is the very thing pushing your desires away? In the realm of energetic creation, effort without alignment is noise. We live in a world that glorifies control. But the deeper truth, the one quantum physics and ancient mystics whisper in harmony, is that reality doesn't respond to your struggle. It responds to your state. And that state is not a mood. It's not something you pretend for 5 minutes during a visualization. It's the signature of your nervous system. It's the signal your entire being broadcasts into the unified field. Here's the paradox. Most people are trying to magnetize peace while living in a frequency of chaos. They're scripting abundance while anchored in fear. They're chasing love while swimming in self-abandonment. And the field, the great mirror of all that is, doesn't hear what you say. It reflects what you are. So let me offer you something radical. Stop performing your desire. Start becoming its embodiment. Because manifestation isn't magic. It's resonance. And resonance doesn't come from words. It comes from coherence, the deep inner harmony between your thoughts, your emotions, and your body. When those align, the universe doesn't need convincing. It simply responds. Let's go deeper. Imagine reality as a spectrum of frequencies. Every version of your life already exists, like radio stations broadcasting simultaneously. The wealthy version of you, the peaceful version, the deeply loved, purpose-filled version. They're all transmitting. But here's the secret. You don't create them. You tune into them. And tuning doesn't happen through willpower. It happens through vibrational congruence. Through becoming the version of you who doesn't need the thing to feel whole, because wholeness is the frequency that magnetizes it. This is where most people get stuck. They mistake manifestation for a transaction. If I meditate enough, if I think positive, if I script the perfect day, the universe will reward me. But the universe isn't Santa Claus. It's a field of intelligent energy governed by resonance. It gives you what you are, not what you bargain for. That's why you can repeat affirmations all day, but if your body is still broadcasting anxiety, nothing changes. That's why you can journal your dream life every morning, but if your subconscious is saturated with unworthiness, the field can't reflect your desires, only your frequency. Let's pause here. This isn't about shame or blame. It's about power. Real power, the kind that comes when you stop outsourcing your future to rituals and start remembering that you are the ritual. You are the event the quantum field is waiting for. When your nervous system stabilizes in trust, not as a thought but as a felt experience, the wave collapses. Potential becomes form. But if you're observing reality through the lens of urgency, nothing collapses. It remains floating, a possibility never embodied. This is what quantum mechanics calls the observer effect. It's not just that we influence reality through awareness. It's how we observe that determines what shows up. Observation infused with fear reinforces delay. Observation infused with knowing activates immediacy. So let me ask you, what lens are you observing your life through? Are you peering at your desires with desperation, hoping they arrive so you can finally feel safe? Or are you allowing safety to become your default so those desires flow to you effortlessly? Neville Goddard called this living from the end. Not visualizing it once and hoping, but being the person who already has it. Moving, breathing, choosing, and reacting as if it's already real. That's not pretending. That's remembering. That's self-selection. That's how reality responds. You don't wait to become aligned. You align and the weight dissolves. But here's where most get lost. Simplicity is terrifying to the mind addicted to control. We've been taught that if something is powerful, it must also be complicated. If it works, it must be earned. So when we hear that it's as simple as aligning your internal state, the ego panics. Surely it can't be that easy. But what if it is? What if the entire journey was never about doing more, but about undoing the patterns that keep you chasing? What if manifestation isn't about trying to get something, but about remembering that you're already tuned into it the moment you stop resisting who you actually are? Joe Dispenza says your thoughts are electric, your emotions magnetic. Together, they broadcast your energetic signature. And the field isn't judging that signal. It's responding. It doesn't care what you want. It cares what you're tuned to. Let's say you want deep connection, but you're living in self-protection. You crave intimacy but broadcast distrust. In quantum terms, that signal says, I'm not safe. Stay away. So no matter how much you hope, you remain in isolation, not because life is cruel, but because it's obedient. Or you desire abundance, but spend your days feeling rushed, worried, and under pressure. That vibration says, I'm lacking. I'm hustling to survive. So guess what the field reflects? More experiences that confirm lack. This is not punishment. It's physics. So how do we shift? Not through striving, through anchoring, through becoming so emotionally familiar with the version of you who already has it that your body believes it before it arrives. Gratitude, safety, joy, fulfillment. These aren't bonuses. They are magnetic signatures. And when you wire them into your nervous system, reality bends. This is what mental rehearsal does. The brain can't tell the difference between a vividly imagined event and a real one. So when you feel the future now, your brain builds new circuits. Your body creates new chemistry. Your field changes its frequency. And suddenly the path reveals itself. Not because you forced it, because you matched it. And here's the kicker. You don't have to sustain this vibration 24/7. You just have to return to it, again and again. When doubt creeps in, you return. When impatience whispers, you return. Not with pressure, but with presence. It's not about perfection. It's about emotional consistency. If you return to the frequency of trust more often than fear, that becomes your baseline. And your baseline becomes your broadcast. And your broadcast shapes your world. This is why so many people touch their future in meditation, then immediately undo it by rehearsing their limitations the rest of the day. They touch the frequency but don't live there. That's like planting a seed, then digging it up every hour to check if it's growing. So how do you stay there? Start small. Make micro choices that reflect the you who already lives the life you want. Walk as if, speak as if, react as if, not from delusion, but from intention. Because the moment you start responding differently to life, life responds differently to you. Suddenly, synchronicities increase. Opportunities appear. People shift. Not because the universe is rewarding you, but because you're now in resonance with the timeline where all of that already exists. This is the collapse. The moment potential becomes tangible. The quantum field doesn't need years. It needs clarity. And clarity doesn't come from the mind. It comes from the body. The moment your nervous system says, this is real, the field agrees. That's when the vision board becomes unnecessary. That's when the scripting becomes obsolete. Not because they're wrong, but because you've become the thing you were trying to attract. This is the shift from chasing to becoming, from doing to being, from waiting to remembering. So if this message is stirring something inside you, pause. Not for more information, but for integration. Take a breath. Drop into your body. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to live as if it's already done? Not in theory, in sensation, in posture, in presence. Now let that be your broadcast. And if something in you knows this is your time, that your reality is already aligning behind the scenes, type 777 in the comments. Why 777? Because in spiritual and energetic traditions, 777 is the code of alignment, the mark of divine timing, resonance, and confirmation. It's the signature of coherence. When you comment 777, you're not just participating. You're imprinting. You're sending a signal to the field. I remember who I am. I'm no longer chasing. I'm tuning in. So go ahead. Drop that code below. Let it echo through this field. And if you're ready to anchor into this frequency, to continue rewiring your reality from the inside out, subscribe. Not for more content, for more coherence.